sometimes, but this chili has deer burger in it tonight.
Where did this podcast go? Straight to hell.
Yeah.
Speaking of hell, check out East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
Hunt, you live it, you breathe it, and it's exactly what I do. I live it, I breathe it. Where it is now, where it's insane.
Hey guys, what's up? This is the East Coast Bowhunting Podcast, scouting right along through the timber, trying to bring you episode 16, Taxidermy 101 with Chris Brockett. No. Listening good. The famous CT taxidermist Chris Brockett, as he teaches us a thing or two about the prime time of season. Today's episode is brought to you by Shabim Brewing, CT's finest beer, the Hunter's Beer. Also brought to you by 100 Demons, East Coast hardcore music known worldwide. Trev's Euros, for all your Euromount needs. You can find him on Facebook. Also brought to you by CT Bowhunting, CT's #1 source for bowhunters. Check out their app and download it for free. It's the Judge-Free Zone. Check it out. Made possible by Nor'easter Game Calls. Get them in close at www.nor'eastergamecalls.com. We are here as always at Slayer Studio in Coventry, Connecticut, hiding in the mountains of God's heaven. And we're here also as always. Whoa. What's about to happen?
Shabine.
Sorry, today's episode intro is interrupted by Shabim Brewing. We're here as always for new and old hunters by sharing our experiences in the woods through playing and slaying. What is up, my fellas?
What's up, D-Rock?
What's up, boys?
What's going on, Trev?
What's
Pornstar
up?
Ryan?
Not much, man. Not much.
We're real
yeah.
excited. Some good stuff tonight.
This is the first intro I didn't mention our names. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. What's up?
You know,
Nobody
we're-
wants to know actually who's here.
Nah. We're a bunch of nobodies. We're just the narrator to the story coming up.
Yeah,
In this
That's
episode.
it.
That's it.
We got
I'm
a couple
excited,
different-
man.
Couple
Me
different
too.
things, yeah.
Bro, this is prime time for taxidermy.
Yep.
Like, everyone's looking for taxidermists, input on taxidermy, and there's, people on the rise, like, getting into taxidermy. I'm one of them, man. I'm hooked.
I can't believe that we got him away from the skinning knife to be doing tonight.
Especially this time of year. You kidding me?
Oh, he's so jam-packed, and there's just so much going on in his shop right now. Like, I was talking to him earlier, and he's got, like, he probably took in, like, 15 heads last night.
Really?
Yeah, it's out of control. He's been skinning for days on end.
Yo, don't give up his secrets. These are all questions I'm asking him.
Oh, all right, whatever.
We gotta get him on here.
Yeah. We'll do that soon.
Yeah, we'll get him on.
So let's just do a quick BS and recap, just to keep the listeners filled in. Especially people that are listening to the show for the first time on this episode. We got some recent events, right? Right after Turkey Day.
Yeah.
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 I don't know what he's
We,
talking
we
about.
sound like the pigeons on fucking
Yeah.
Finding Nemo. It's
Yeah.
like-
Yeah. Huh?
Well, why don't you tell us what's going on?
Yeah,
then?
what happened?
well, finally, D-Rock put one down. Yeah, I talk myself in third person. It's just...
Well, we had that little bonus
Oh, my
episode.
God.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
had the bonus on that.
But you know what?
And if you want to hear about it, you listen to it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's where it's at.
Hell yeah. But one thing to be said for all the new guys out there, or the people that got away from it and want to get back into it, and are a little tentative because, they've been away from the game, so to speak, for so long, don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Stay with it.
It's only bone. Shit. Get in them woods. And you know what? What I could take away from this past week, it could be a Debbie Downer, so to speak. Like you're going through the season, hunting hard every day, doing everything right, but whitetail hunting is just that way. Sometimes you just don't get them right away.
Or sometimes you're gonna stand 15 minutes like D-Rock and you shoot one.
Yeah.
Not even. We went over that before.
Yeah,
we started
what
recording,
that
right?
ended
Maybe
up
12 minutes.
Yeah, it's I think I texted you at 12:38 saying that I bumped some does towards you. Got to the tree, climbed up. Took me 6 minutes to get up, thanks to Lone Wolf. Got all settled in. After 6 minutes, I see something. I shoot something.
It was it.
That was
About,
it.
about
was
12
history.
minutes, if you ask me. About 12. Yeah, under 15 minutes in the stand. Sometimes you get lucky. Other times you sit for weeks on end.
Oh, that
don't
ain't
see
luck,
a damn
son.
thing.
That ain't luck. No, it's all luck. Are you
It's
kidding
all
me?
luck.
Shit.
Yeah.
No one shoots something that quick.
Yeah, that's it. It happens though. Ryan, one of your first deer.
My very first deer, didn't have my bow all the way up in the stand, and I was able to get it luckily and come in my very first deer ever, and wasn't even fully set.
I
when he
remember
came
that.
In, so
Really?
Yeah, I was duck hunting that day.
Really?
Yeah, I said
Yo,
screw it. I'm
actually,
going duck hunting.
bring us back real quick.
Yeah,
You
what do
know,
you want- what do you want
I
here?
think. Well, bring us back. Not necessarily play by play, but kind of like a fast forward on your first deer. Let's all do that real quick.
rewind first deer, not
This
fast
way,
forward.
everyone can
Rewind.
relate.
Rewind
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
deer. Yeah, my first deer ever was taken with a bow and arrow. Hand me down old PSE. What was that thing called? The Brute maybe, or the Bear or something? Maybe that PSE is one. They're basic models back then.
Do you
It was
still
handed
have it?
down to me. I still got. Of course, I still
Buckmaster?
got
Yeah.
it.
Remember the
it was-
PSE
That's awesome.
Buckmaster?
Of course. Oh, yeah. It was very similar to that. It was around that same time those came out together. But hand-me-down bow, I shot it every single day. I was 12, 13 years old right when I got my bow license. And, I was on a small little piece of private property. And, I was hunting out of an old tree lounge climber. Those tree lounge climbers, they're not really set up for bow hunting at all. But I'll tell you what, those things are comfy if you got a rifle. But I made it happen. I hunted a handful of times.
I almost never have a rifle.
No, ever, no. But I was,
Well,
that's,
I'm just
that's
saying.
what was given to me to hunt with, and it worked. And I fell asleep in the thing a couple of times, but finally I was able to connect. A nice crisp morning. It was actually Veterans Day of man, that's got to be 2000.
Oh, really? Your first buck
Was on Veterans Day. I was off.
yo, that's badass.
I had no school because it was Veterans Day. Coventry school systems used to take Veterans Day off. I don't know if they still do. But I had no school
What
on
the hell
that.
happened to America?
Oh,
you know,
man.
I don't think they do. Oh wait, I think they do.
They
Don't
might. I don't know. I've been out of school a while now, so.
I dropped out of school when I was a farm boy in Mexico.
So yeah,
No.
so it's Veterans Day. Had the day off. Snuck out real crisp morning, nice frosty morning, and I was able to get it done before I was even fully set up in there. Of course, I got out a little late because I didn't want to wake up in the morning,
Right.
But I got up and we went out in the woods, and I wasn't in there.
What'd you shoot your first buck with?
It was old PSC. That was my first buck, my first deer, my first doe, my first deer ever. It was a nice little
Compound?
6-point compound bow.
Okay.
I did hit him in the spine with a big old Thunderhead 100 grain broadhead. I got those from Trent's pops. He's always shooting them Thunderheads.
He loves them. He
What
still
kind of
shoots
rack?
them.
What kind of rack? A nice little bucket 6 rack.
Oh, nice.
Nothing huge, but I still got it on my
No,
wall
that's
this
good
day.
for a first buck. You
Yeah,
kidding me?
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah.
Cool.
My very first deer ever with a bow, and it was a little buck. Couldn't freaking beat it. But you know
Oh,
what?
yeah.
I've been cursed with them little basket racks since then.
And it happens.
Since then, I've been cursed with little basket
Yeah,
racks.
but the bodies are big around
Oh,
here.
huge,
Oh,
huge
That's
yeah.
one
bodies.
thing. Actually, you know what? That's one. I actually confirmed what I've been seeing personally. Not a great confirmation and source of info, but on social media, one of my buddies posted that he was down in Texas, and the rack was huge, but the body was small. And he's from Connecticut. He's from Connecticut. He said the bodies in Connecticut are actually bigger than those specific ones. I don't know if he was hunting high fence or whatever, but he said the racks were big, bodies were small. And in Connecticut, we tend to find vice versa, aside from the local giants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, there is. Actually, it's kind of funny. Local giants. Chris Brockett just texted me. 152 incher just walked through the door.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
We'll hear all about that.
152.
Where's
Yeah.
the Shabine for that?
Yeah.
Give me one.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh. Yeah. So 152 was killed today.
Beautiful. I'm sure he'll
Connecticut.
tell us all about that when we get him
Yeah.
on here in a little bit.
So,
So, Trev, let's hear about your first
my
deer.
first deer was a doe. I shot with my pops. I
A
was
doe, a deer, a female deer.
was shot at the petting zoo.
Your family property. Yeah.
On family property. I was 15. I shot it with a bow and arrow. I was using a bow and arrow. No.
So,
no,
Trev,
I was
were you
actually
using a bow and arrow?
Yeah, I was. Actually, it's kind of funny is
Yo, Ryan, I want what he's on. We have any of that left? What kind of beer are you sipping on?
no, I got the cranberry yum yum.
No
Ah.
shit. I should be sipping on that. Shit.
Yeah. No, just kidding. No, so I was it came in 20 yards, perfect shot. Put the old what is those the 77-18, right?
What are you talking about?
The arrows, the old aluminum fucking
Oh,
broomsticks,
the old Eastons.
dude.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, the game getters?
No,
Oh,
no.
Dude, that's what I'm rocking.
No, these were old feather fletchings.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
oh yeah.
So
Some-
your pops
no
always
kidding.
used.
old. Actually, I was using a Wasp SST Boss, which is Wasp is a broadhead company made here
Straight
in
out of
Connecticut.
Connecticut, yeah.
And actually, I still shoot Wasp to this day.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I've
same.
always have. Actually, every single deer they've taken, except for maybe a handful of them, were actually taken with Wasp, which
Really?
is pretty cool being a Connecticut company.
Hell
but,
yeah.
But that was my
Homegrown.
first. So we had gotten up into the stand. We were. I think sunrise was. It was about this time of year. It was right around 6:30. 7. I want to say it was like 7:02. I smacked that deer, and my dad was not really upset, but he kind of was because like it was my
So
first
early.
deer, so he has to like come down and kind of like help me because he's
So
like,
you
I don't want you
ruined his
sitting
hunt.
in your
You ruined
stand.
his hunt.
Oh, I did too, and he
Basically,
totally
yeah.
could have shot more deer because I took the last deer in line when it went by me. There was 3 deer, and I took the last one in line, so the rest of them were still going forward. He probably could have
Yeah,
shot one.
straight up-
I just let him go, and then they
Straight
just
up
smoke
East,
it.
Yo, East Coast Predator. Taking the straggler.
You got it, man.
Saw the weak one of the herd is like mine.
But it seems like every time that I go there and I hunt with him at the petting zoo, like last year, he begged me to go with him, and I'm like, all right, fine, I'll.
He begged you?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
on his
he just
knees
wants
and
someone to hunt with him.
I hate going there.
He just wants someone to hunt.
Oh.
I don't know. It's not my favorite place to
It's
go
a
because
hike.
it like.
Didn't
It's a
you
hike.
almost take me there?
Yeah, but he'll like
What the
walk.
fuck?
He'll walk in. And it's like it's sunrise, or he'll go in there and it'll be like an hour before sunset. It's not even fun. You know what I'm saying? But every time I go
He's
in
all
there,
business.
That's how he likes to hunt.
yeah. But I make him go early when I go, and like first sunrise, I fucking smoke something every single time. This year, last year actually, I smoked a double. It was like same thing, 7:02. Fucking not even in the stand for 15, 20 minutes, and I smoked 2 of them. He's like, motherfucker. He's like, you're gonna sit. I said, I ain't sitting. I said, I shot my 2 deer. I'm the fuck out of here.
Yeah. That's funny.
But
So your first buck.
first buck, 3 years ago, I shot my first decent 6-pointer that I can remember. Bow,
No.
right? We're talking bow.
Yeah.
First bow buck, yeah.
Oh yeah, so it was 3 years ago.
Yeah, nice
it was the
6.
first one that I rattled in.
No shit.
So and
You rattled them in.
I rattled them in.
Well, what time of year was it, you think?
It was November 7th, so it was right in the begining of the rut.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was actually so I was doing an all day sit. I had some opportunities at some other deer.
What time of day?
It was probably like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I was doing an all day sit, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I stood up, I rattled, and not even 10 minutes later, I sit down. I'm starting to sit down because I was just gonna stay up just in case they came like running in. I go to sit down, lights out. Here he is, right underneath me, 20 yards. Smoke him. That's it. It was over. But I never see. The thing is, like, and I purposely went out buck hunting. Because my thing is, like, everything that goes by me, I'm going to fucking shoot it, and then I'm done.
Right,
I don't
right.
really care. So, that's
If it's brown, it's down.
that's it.
I mean, unless you get ahead of the game, then obviously you start shooting big
Right.
bucks.
You get
Right.
you get a freezer full. and
Oh,
then,
that's
you
it.
know.
Don't
Yeah.
get us wrong. Everyone out there, I mean, I want to do that. I want to. We live actually in a very small state that's actually pretty populated with deer herd, and
But we have big deer herd here.
and not for nothing, but people like us, we contribute to conservation by doing that. If it's brown is down, we get our freezers full. We help out conservation. We try to prevent CWD from happening because it's transmitted mainly through fluids, bodily fluids. Sort of
It's
like,
actually something
sort of
that
like the HIV. You know, you don't want to get the HIV.
It's actually something
No
that
CWD for deer. You know, there's a Magic Johnson of deer out there. There is. You know what I mean? But the thing is, the good thing is there's a cure, but we just haven't found it yet.
the
You know what I mean?
the CWD thing. That's all in the spinal cord and the brain, but it's a nervous system
Right.
disease. We have no known cases of CWD in Connecticut alone. We had
Right.
EHD at one point,
Well,
but
yeah.
no CWD, and it's a big ghost thing that we're chasing here in Connecticut. And it's something that, you know, obviously maybe something Chris can talk on, but when things come from out of state, as far as being a taxidermist, when we get it to have to come to our shop, it has to be a clean skull cap, no bones, from those that list of places that we get them from. I think I've gone over it before.
Yeah, we went
there's
over
there's,
it.
a, there's
we
a
did.
big
Check
there's
out
a big
our
list
earlier
of them.
episodes. I actually don't remember. Maybe it was like episode 3 or 4, but
But
no, I
if
think
you're
it
gonna
was third, actually.
import or export deer from Connecticut, you want to make sure that you know the states that you can and can't bring these things, that you
Right.
can't bring these animals to. And it kind of sucks because like the guys from like Midwest or like down south or whatever, I would love to do the Euros for these guys, but I can't because they can't ship them to me without a clean skull plate. I'm in the
Right.
process of talking to it. Well, it's no good to me because then the skull plate has to be removed off the head and
Right.
cleaned. So I can't do a European
You got
mount.
no skull at that
So I talked to some DEP officer the other day about it, and we're gonna actually look at the federal law and see what actually is the law written federally on bringing into Connecticut, whether it's cleaned or it's not cleaned.
And that being said, like for submission of Pope and Young, it does have to be a skull cap and antler bare minimum. Because I actually had not too long ago, not to get off subject, but maybe a couple days ago, I had someone hit me up to score their whitetail, and they said, "Oh, it's already fully mounted." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So you have it's mounted with at least the skull cap and antlers. He's like, "No." I'm like, "No." I'm like, "So how'd you have it mounted?" He's like, "Well, one of my buddies did it." I'm like, "Oh," and it actually looked really good. Actually, I was very skeptical.
Oh, so he did. He used.
skull.
No, he didn't.
No.
What he used
a pre-molded base.
Well,
like-
they use what they call shed connectors.
Yeah,
They're called shed connectors.
All right,
So
there you
like
go.
if you were to like cut the antlers off of the skull cap or whatever,
Right.
they use the shed connectors. We'll ask Chris about the shed
Yeah.
connectors and he can
Right.
explain it. So if you were to find sheds or whatever,
You know what?
that you can make a mount out of it with the shed connectors. But it's
I'm
definitely
actually noting that down in my notepad right now because that's actually a good thing to bring up.
because you can mount deer if you find the sheds or something like that because of those. But he can explain that.
Awesome. But yeah, he said that he had that. I was like, I hate to break the bad news, man, but I'm not going to be able to score that. He's like, what do you mean? You know, and he was really hard set because he sent me the pictures, and honestly, the way it was set up, especially with the spread, because I don't know too much about shed connectors, but knowing that there was no skull attached to it, the spread was just crazy.
You don't know the real spread.
Oh,
You don't know
really?
the
Right.
real.
Yeah, because then that no, you
The
can't. do
bone,
that.
the main beams were, it was very impressive.
Really,
And I kind of felt for him, but at the same time, it's like cheating.
it
You
is
can't
what
cheat.
it is, man.
Yeah, can't cheat. So, real quick, let's touch base on, for all listeners out there, and everyone in Connecticut, especially, or surrounding states in Connecticut, I'm your local Pope and Young measurer. If you get any big game animals that you want to submit, especially right now, whitetail, we're doing a drawing right now, a raffle for many different hunts. It's only $20 a ticket. You can hit up Pope and Young, your local Pope and Young measurer. You can hit me up on social, and I'll sell you a ticket. I'll mail it out to you. I don't care. They're $20 each, and I mean they're great. I mean six prize. So there's 6 different prizes. You got a Pope and Young lifetime membership. 5th is the branded Tundra Hall, the Yeti Tundra Hall from Pope and Young. And then also the 4th one is the Sky Archer, the Pack Stone Glacier. 3rd prize is Argentina Dove Hunt. Who the hell doesn't want to have an excuse going to Argentina?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah,
I'm
you should
saying.
have Caddy Cowboy tell you about. I mean, he went to Argentina and shit. 16,000 doves there.
That's what I'm saying.
In
And
5
we're-
days.
Yeah, we're actually we're gonna get Caddy Cowboy on the phone soon. Actually, 2nd prize is 6-day spring black bear hunt in Jack Creek Preserve. Dude, that's a $3,000 value for $20. Never mind that. I'm saying 3rd prize is a $7,200 value. If you want some doves, I'm saying. I mean, here in the dirty, I mean, you just go under the bridge and you can get some doves, aka dirty pigeons. But I mean, if you want some clean doves, that's what you want. 3rd prize. 1st prize, grand prize is 6-day northern Saskatchewan October whitetail hunt, Canadian Trophy Quest. That thing is crazy. I already bought 2 tickets and hoping to get that.
You can't go wrong for $20.
Bro, I'm
Yeah.
Mexican and I spent $40 on paper.
Wow.
Just
On paper.
paper that says I may have a chance.
What'd you have to do today for that money?
Bro, I was raking leaves, cutting lawns.
Backpack blower too, or
Not-
no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm a fancy Mexican. I cheat. But yeah, hit us up, Pope and Young. If you want a raffle ticket, that's where it's at. So let's bring it to my my first buck, which is recent. Last year. I've only been hunting whitetail for 2 years. My last buck, it was my shoulder was done. I was in a car accident the end of the year before, December 16. And I was just doing a lot of physical therapy. Long story short, I'm a hunter, wanted to get into whitetail hunting. Didn't have too much background on that because I always wanted to do it, but never had someone to kind of push me forward. You know what I mean?
Right. Because
I always hunted everything else. Smaller game. I don't want to get into that. If you want to check out what I hunted earlier, check out the earlier episodes. But whitetail's the biggest rabbit hole. That's a good friend of mine's quote that you'll never climb out of. And my first buck was a crossbow because my shoulder wasn't good enough for the compound again. And not to get too sidetracked, actually at the Iowa Deer Classic, I got to shoot the Ritual for the first time before it was even out on the market. You guys are going to love the Iowa Deer Classic and meet all the boys and stuff. Yeah, that's going to be a good time.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be a good time. But anyways, I shot the Ritual before it was even out. And my boy E-Rock, E-Man from WCB, he actually saw me draw. It was only 65 pounds, too. He saw me draw and wince. And it was a bit of a struggle. Not crazy, but for a big dude, like he's like, oh, shit, your shoulder. I'm like, yeah. So even then, that was in March. That was after I met you, Trev.
Mm-hmm.
It still wasn't good. So, coming into whitetail season, I really wanted to do archery, and I couldn't wait. And that I did the deed. It was a button buck.
Yep.
But it was a
whatever.
Yeah. Well, not just whatever. It was a big boy though. I took the biggest of the three, and I actually thought it was a doe. I didn't have my binocs on him. It was 40 yards with a crossbow. Took him down. And that was my first one. And when I ran up to him, I'm like, oh, shit, this is a buck. I'm like, delicious. Right?
Nice.
Yeah.
Right? A young buck. It's like,
right.
I didn't necessarily mean to do it. No spots. Perfectly legal.
Yep.
And it only took an antlerless tag.
That's
Perfect.
it.
Best place of all, right?
Yeah.
First buck.
You still have two either sex and another antlers.
Yep.
Right.
Can't go
That's
wrong.
awesome.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. It was delicious, too. On a serious note.
Those are the best eating ones.
They
cook less, save on propane.
I'm all hardwood.
That's
hardwood and smoker. You know that.
You are hardwood. Look at you.
Actually, Ryan.
Hey, whoa. This is your story, bro. I got nothing to do with this.
Oh, man.
So, you know what? Let's cut into it. Let's get Caddy Cowboy in for his special thing that he wants to contribute to the podcast. And let's get Chris on the phone after that.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right, cool. All right, so we got Caddy Cowboy on the phone. I mean, we told you we're do a little something special, so we got him on the phone live right now, trying to get him in and see what's up with him. Where, Trev?
Yeah, absolutely. This is awesome.
What's up, East Coast Bowhunting Podcast?
What up, Caddy Cowboy?
What's going on?
What's good? How you doing?
I'm good. I just want to mention from last week's show, the guys after Ryan fell in the water forgot to mention that I was the only one who shot a duck, and it was at 80 yards.
That's
Left
funny.
that part out of the story.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, why don't you tell us a little about yourself and what drew you to the good news? I mean, you called in to let us know what's up. We talked a little bit about it last week, and now you're on the phone, so tell us your inspiration on what you're about to do for the listeners out there.
First of all, I'm addicted to the show, and I love texting Trevor and picking on him afterwards. So I'm on every episode and the bonus episodes. But I got introduced into hunting later in life. I have family that are in South Africa and Zimbabwe as professional hunters, and I visited them a couple times but didn't hunt much. And then my South African grandfather moved to the United States when I was like 10. And then I was in my mid-20s when he kind of reintroduced me into whitetail hunting down in Georgia. And it's been amazing ever since. I hunt a lot, not as much as Trevor because I got a job. Every chance I get, I've done a little bit of traveling. So I'd love to hear what other people's stories are. I know a lot of guys just learn when they're young, but there's just a lot of great stories of people getting into it. So write a short story. Submit it to East Coast Bowhunting Podcast on Instagram or Facebook, and we're putting up a $100 gift card to Cabela's Bass Pro to the winner. We'll pick them out together. I might pick the winner and have fun with it.
That's really
Yeah,
badass
that's
of
awesome.
you, man.
Very
That-
cool.
Very,
you know,
very badass.
And it's kind of funny is because Matt's grandfather is no longer with us, and we got to do some really cool hunting with him, and him being like a like a world-renowned hunter. It was just one of the coolest things, and some of the stories that he had to tell. So and Matt can also justify for this, but his grandfather wrote every single hunt that he has a picture of. He wrote his story on the back of them. So there's actually
Really?
a book in the family trophy room of all of his stories of all of his hunts. So like that's like a huge thing to me and Matt, is to read those stories of different hunts and stuff that he's done all over the world. So
That's
actually
awesome.
It's kind of cool. So I get where Matt's coming from with having this and wanting to do this in this giveaway. So
I don't want to give too much light to Caddy Cowboy. I just want to show a little glimpse of him on the show, because we're actually going to do an episode with him in the future. So this was a great way to introduce him. And one more time, Caddy Cowboy, just for our listeners out there, do a quick recap of what you're doing for them.
For the listener,
Yeah, for the listeners, the giveaway.
whoever wins, $100 gift card, Bass Pro Cabela. Get yourself what you'd like to get, and just keep listening to East Coast Podcast.
Awesome. And what are the rules again? They just got to give their
Short story, don't overdo it, but get your message in there. Submit it through social media, Instagram or Facebook, East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
Awesome. Yo, Caddy Cowboy, thank you for coming on, and we'll definitely keep in touch soon. You're very, very generous, man. Thanks
you again, Matt. Appreciate it.
No
Thank you.
worries. Bring the Mexican mixologist back over here after you guys are done.
I'll come over and make some more martinis.
Yes! That's awesome! What? You just took one in the jugular, man! Whoa! Yes! Oh my god! Oh my god, I did! Is this bad? Is this bad? You should pull that out. That shit is not cool. Wait. Pull what out? The dart, man. Got a fucking dart in your neck. You're crazy, man. You're crazy. I like you. But you're crazy.
Hell yeah, yo, that was the quick little segment of me talking my deer after I shot him. I just wanted to do a quick recap on that memory. But anyways, let's get Chris Brockett on the phone. Let's do it. All right, so we're back with Chris Brockett. Welcome to Slayer Studio, my buddy. Tell us a little about Chris Brockett, the day-to-day man.
Well, hey, first of all, thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, well, my day-to-day activities. Well, let's see. I wake up and for the last 2 or 3 weeks, gun season's been pretty busy. Skinning deer.
So to speak, they call you the Skinner.
Skinner, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
No, it's a lot of guys, they don't really know how to go about it. They'll call me up and they'll say, hey, I just shot my first deer or whatever, or my kid shot their first deer. Where do I go from there? And I just tell them, if you can drag them out, with a sled or something like that, try to save the hides on them. Trying to drag them, across the stone walls and whatnot.
Yep.
Try saving the hides, wrap them in a tarp, do anything you can. That's a huge thing is, keeping the hide in a good shape. That's, I get replacement skins for you, but, you try to save the actual skin,
Oh, so you do that yourself?
What's that?
Yeah.
You do that yourself? Save your own skins and stuff? Skin them out?
I save my own, and then I got some slaughterhouses that work with me. If the guys are just going to do a Euro mount or something like that, I go up, I'll skin the deer out, I'll save the skins, and, do the Euro,
cool.
I'll do Euro mounts for them and stuff like that. Or,
awesome.
so, you'd be surprised how many guys don't do anything at all with the, they just want to cut the skull caps off and hang them on their garage wall,
Really?
So,
Are those
there's a lot of
mainly
good skins out there that get tossed away?
Are those mainly the gun hunters that do that, not the bow hunters, or?
It's both.
Oh, no shit.
You see a lot of, I got one last year. It's the biggest deer I've ever seen, skin-wise. It was a 29-inch neck. And it's like the size
Holy
of a small
smack.
elk. You know, it's the guy just want to do a European mount on it. You know, it's some people, the taxidermy is their thing, and the other people, they can care less. They're just meat hunters. You know.
Right.
Yeah, and so you save them so that if somebody gets one ruined, then
Yes.
then
like I tell guys, they're gonna just do Euro mounts. They'll say, hey, I got the skin still. And like I tell them, if I get these skins for nothing, I give them the guys for nothing and need a replacement skin, or I get the guys that. They'll say, hey, I got an old mount that I want to get remounted that another taxidermist did for me, 10 years ago, and I'm not happy with it. Or, Grandpa's mount on the wall. You've all seen them ones that, look like they've been in the bar scenes, for 50 years.
right.
And they want to just, do them over and make them look fresh and new again. So, I'll get them spare skins, and I'll give them to the guys,
Right.
That's
right.
awesome.
Hey, Chris, I've been meaning to ask you, man. When'd you get into this business? Like, when did it spark your interest? How old were you?
I got into it. I started doing it. I went to taxidermy school in 2012 out in Montana. I got into it. I got into it as well. I used to shoot a lot of deer, and my taxidermy bills just, started getting kind of high. And I was like, I'd kind of like to learn how to do this. And the taxidermist I was using at the time did a real nice job, and it just really sparked my interest in it. And I says, well, maybe something I should, kind of learn to do and maybe save a little money. And I never really intended to, go into business, per se, but I, it just kind of took off. And
For the love of it, so to speak.
yeah, it's you got to have a passion for it. It's just kind of in your blood, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's that's an art. That's not even that is a total art. I've seen you do it, and it's just crazy. I mean, I don't think I could honestly put myself through it, but just watching you do it and then having to paint them and everything like that. I mean, that's just a skill in itself. I don't think people understand that actually what entails to get a deer mounted.
There's a lot that goes into it. I mean, you've been in the shop before. You've watched me work, and we've talked about this before. There's a lot that goes into it. It's you definitely gotta have a passion for it. It's like you said, it's definitely an art. It's definitely an art.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works. It's just watching him do it and putting the skins on the forms and then taking it, sewing it, waiting for it to dry and everything like that. It's just it's a lot that a lot of people don't actually understand what actually goes into mounting any type of animal actually.
Yeah.
So what's the process so when they come to you, what's the process normally?
Your routine.
With the customer.
The guy shows up at my house. Sometimes they bring me the whole deer. I don't know, 3 or 4 times this week the guy brings me the whole deer. He hasn't gut him, hasn't done anything with him.
I saw that last post
you
put up.
with that. We hang them up in the front yard here. I'll skin them out. I'll gut them out. Hell, I'll even quarter them out for guys. It don't matter to me. It's all the same to me.
Right.
First thing we do, we come in, we do paperwork. Confirmation number. You have to have your confirmation number from the state. You shoot the deer, you call in, you get your confirmation number. Now you're legal to transport your deer, and it's legally, you legally possess the deer. I write that down, take all your paper, or your information, and we figure out a pose. There's tons of poses out there. We can go through the book, figure out what we like. Do the deposit, and the guy usually leaves from there. Then I cape it out, cut the horns off it, and clean the skull, put it on the drying rack, send it out to the tannery, get it back, rehydrate it, stretch it out, order the form, put it together.
That sounds so easy. So you're saying,
you make it, anybody can do it then.
So yo, Chris. So what you're saying is my Mexican American ass can actually get into this and do the same thing you do.
Sounds like it.
It's how good are you with a knife?
Yeah, you're doing a knife. I'm using my shank. I'm sorry.
Is that made with a toothbrush?
You're giving away all my secrets. Stop.
Shank.
So Chris,
I get a lot of guys, they don't have any clue how to skin them. And like I said, I tell them, just bring the deer over, I'll skin them out for you. That's not a problem. And usually I show the guys one time how to do it, and they're like, wow, that was real easy. And it really is. You see it done once, and it's real simple.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, Chris, I was actually meaning to ask you, what sparked your interest into taxidermy? Aside from, like, you did say that you wanted to start saving a little money because your mentor was getting out of the game, or the taxidermist you used. But
No, it was because he wanted to save money.
Right.
Because he was shooting too many damn deer.
No, but aside from that, though.
And I think to save up money, but I just found it fascinating how I could bring a dead animal, just a cape, just a ball of fur and blood and nastiness to a taxidermist.
And turn it into
get
work.
It back from him, and it looked alive again. And just something about that, it kind of amazed me, And I was like, man, that's really, really cool. I'd like to learn how to do that. And that's kind of what, turned me on to the whole thing of taxidermy. And then, like I said, the taxidermist I used to use, he did a great job. And I just thought it was so cool that it come back, looking so alive and real, And that's what got me into it.
You know what? And that's something to be said. And I'm glad you brought that up. I was kind of trying to lead you to that way and not... I just get a taxidermist perspective because, you know what? There's a lot of antis, and this is the battle of this day and age, especially being a hunter, taxidermist, anything outdoors and into conservation, is a lot of people that aren't in it don't understand. And then on top of it, the way you answer that question is you're bringing it back to life. Like, so in other words, you're the funeral home for the outdoor animal,
for
right?
the whitetail.
Yeah, for the whitetail.
Back when I had my other shop in Durham, we had a neighbor. We used to call her the PETA lady. And she was like one of the ones that would, pick it at the Durham Fair when they had the elephants, don't do the elephants, that whole spiel, And I used to hang the deer out in the front yard after I mounted them and take pictures because it was a beautiful field in my backyard, And she come walking by. She had a dog, a lab that she used to walk every day. And, I was always polite to her, And she come over, and she knew what I did for work. And she come walking by one day as I was taking pictures of this buck that I was just got done mounting. And she comes over and she says, Chris, you did that? I says, yup. And she goes, wow. She goes, I have to admit that's really beautiful. I says, yeah. I says, it's like a piece of art. And I says, you look at these hunters like they're like these terrible monsters. They just want to go and kill. I says, I'm not going to lie. There is some people out there that are, they just want to go out and kill and put them on the wall. But 99% of these people go out there, they shoot them, they put meat in the freezer. And like I said to her, says, why should you throw this part away? I says, this can be cherished as a memory and a trophy for the rest of your life. Your grandkids can look at it, and it's a piece of wall art. It's a beautiful thing. And she come over and she looked at it and she started petting it. And I was like, and this is blowing my mind. I'm like, wow, it went from like a feeling into like this lady's over here petting the thing, And afterwards she goes, Chris, she goes, I never thought of it like that. She goes, you're absolutely right. So it kind of felt good because I kind of felt like I got through to her, you know what I mean? And kind of maybe changed her point of view a little bit on the way hunters and taxidermy and how everything worked,
Yeah, and educating her on what actually happens. Because a lot of people are just undereducated and ignorant to the subject.
Exactly.
And they just don't know what's going on.
And on that note, Chris does just an incredible job on bringing those deer back to life. When you look at these deer, you look at them and go, just wow, they're just nothing like it. Chris does an exceptional job with his whitetail deer.
Yeah, because it's what he knows. He shoots tons of them. I mean, if you were looking on his Facebook, not even him, but his girlfriend, Kimmy, she got an absolute giant this year already.
Oh, we're going to go there, huh?
Oh,
wow. A little hurt. That one hurt a little, didn't it?
Throwing you under the rug already.
Yeah. No, but he puts her on a big deer every single year. She shoots a big deer every year.
She does it. She does no scouting. I don't know.
You do her scouting, right?
Yeah, you put the hard work in. The boots on the ground.
That's it. Yeah.
I gotta give her credit though. She puts up with me, so I guess she's a good woman.
Yeah.
She didn't get to hunt last year. We had the baby last year in the end
of July. Congrats,
so
man.
She's kind of out of commission there for hunting season. The year before, she got a nice 7-pointer, and then this year she got a nice 11-pointer. And the girl gets it done fast, and we're out in the woods, and I don't think in the last 2 hunting seasons that she's hunted, I don't think she's hunted more than 15 minutes total.
That's because she got a good teacher.
Yeah.
And she's got a good guide because the guy sits there and pulls the deer out for her. And I'm dragging this last one out. I got in the sled, I'm dragging it out. I look back, she's huffing and puffing. I said, what the hell are you huffing and puffing for? I'm doing all the work. Because I know it looks tiring, though.
How big is her taxidermy bill?
She's double. She pays double.
She's double.
It's a family discount. I make them pay double.
So, Chris, before the episode, we were talking about guys that were bringing. They were bringing a deer to get measured with D-Rock. and it didn't have a skull plate on it. So can you explain the shed connectors to everybody? So if you were to shoot a deer in the late season and your antlers were to fall off.
Yep. Okay.
Before that, hey, yo, Chris.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt, but you do know that we can work together, and anyone that wants to get something scored by Bo, you can relay my number to you, and we'll hook up. But this way, if they want to get it measured, and
before you called me here, I just took one in that Green scored 152, and he's looking to get it, officially measured. So yeah, well, I'll definitely get your info before we get off the line here.
Word, because that's Connecticut, fellas. Everyone out there listening to this, I know the big deer. We all know where they lay, but you know what? East Coast got it too.
That's right.
They're
We
out
just
there.
got to work a bit harder. It seems like.
Actually, you know what? Ask Chris. Chris, how many big deer that are like Kansas, Iowa, Illinois, like those class deer? How many of those class deer 140s, 150s, 160s do you get in a year, you think?
Oh, I get quite a few. Last year was a slammer year. I mean, there was some absolute giants came in last year. This year, it's been a lot of 8-pointers. Last year, we had a lot of 10s, a few 12s, and there was a lot of big ones last year. This year, archery started out a little slow. We had a lot of rain and a lot of wind. A lot of Euro mounts this year on the smaller deer. Gun season picked up drastically. And then once we get that snow, boy, that just set everything off. It's been on fire ever since.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And now everything's kind of cold and
yeah,
Awesome.
and you're getting a lot of big ones in now.
yeah. Like I said, opening day gun season and right straight through. I haven't mounted anything in the last 2 weeks. I've been skinning all day.
It's that crazy. So how many deer do you take in on average?
Last year I think we did just over 200 pieces there last year.
Wow.
And this year it's looking like we're gonna break that mark this year. So
Yeah.
I was
it's going.
How many you think? How many deer you think you got this year so far?
Oh, so far, God, I haven't even looked at the books yet. Let's see.
While we're waiting, Chris.
Shabing.
We started at number 315 and we're up to number 435. So
Wow.
Wow.
yeah, we're doing
Holy
good.
moly.
We still got the whole month of December, and we got the January season there for the Zone 11.
For the
12 guys. So,
private,
we're
yeah.
doing pretty good.
A lot of season left still.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, anything could happen now. There's some big bucks that have been shot, but there could be some bigger ones.
There's still some big bucks out there.
You know what?
Yeah, like yesterday, I got them big ones. There was 3 big ones that came in yesterday.
Big
And
body
every one
or
of the guys
big
said
antler?
They were all chasing does. Everyone said they were still on does. So get out there, guys. They're still chasing.
Yeah. There was one that was shot in the southeast Connecticut. It was the biggest deer I ever seen in my life. They posted on one of the online websites. That thing, it's got to be 180 plus.
No way.
Oh, dude, it's got
mass.
Coke cans at the
All the way
base.
up.
It's just filled through. I'll have to.
It's like a moose, man.
Yeah,
it's insane.
I'll have to share it, but
Hey, Chris, I need to ask your opinion. Being in Connecticut, where the biggest melting pot, so to speak, the armpit of fucking New England, and we get the worst of the worst. New York, Boston, Rhode Island, New Jersey, and we're the intersecting way. So at the same token, we get those same deer. It seems like, and sometimes you get that lazy fuck buck that's just hiding in the woods close to the McDonald's because they're used to the humans. And they're the ones traveling the most because they go in late rut, right? I mean, that's what's crazy about Connecticut is the big bucks are hiding out in the weirdest spots you would never even think of.
Right.
Where?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Little small pockets, 2-acre, 3-acre pieces of land. I just picked up a piece of property up in North Haven. It's a piece of woods around. It's right in downtown. The landowner says to me, he goes, there's between 8 and 15 deer in my yard every day. He goes, I'd like you to shoot them for me. I said, okay.
No problem.
Here's a picture of the small one. He shows me an 8-pointer. It's all of 135, 140 inches. I go, wait, that's the small one.
That's Papa Young.
Yeah, that's the small one. I go, well, what's the big one? He goes, I'm not quite sure how many points. He goes, I think it's retarded or something because it looks like a cactus on his head. It's all snarly.
Special needs. It's a special needs, dear Chris. Come on.
We got fast enough. I was like, dude, I need you to sign this. He's like, yeah, not a problem. So him and his neighbor share this little garden, okay? So his neighbor's over there, and he comes over, and he goes, hey, I'm letting this guy bow hunt. He goes, oh, I'll sign it too. So now it's 3.5 acres of woods. It's the only woods around. And they're telling me there's 8 to 15 deer in their front yard every day. You know, they're not afraid of the dogs. They can throw rocks and sticks at them. They have no fear of people whatsoever. So I'm like, wow.
But that's where I was getting at. Is in Connecticut, it's a little different dynamics, you know, compared to the rest of the nation and the rest of the world. Even, I mean, people in Connecticut, they see deer, they're like, oh, look at the beautiful creatures, beautiful wildlife. They're feeding these animals. These animals are being accustomed to seeing humans and interacting with humans, and then lo and behold, the ninjas of the woods are slaying them when they're going back to bed.
Yeah.
And you know what I find so it's funny. I got a buddy who he watches all the hunting shows, and he's huge on the Drury brothers, and whatever the Drury brothers say, this guy, it's like
yeah.
The
No, I get it.
to him, you know what I mean?
I get it.
He won't hunt if the wind is like not perfect. He won't hunt, you know. And like I try to tell him, I says, you know, his name is Steve. I says, Steve, I says, listen. I says, these deer in Connecticut, it ain't like them deer out west where they've never seen a person, or, you know, it's, you know, 500-acre alfalfa fields or soybean fields, you know. I says, these people walk through, and the deer see them every day. They smell them every day. I mean, I don't hunt the wind like he does. And, well, Trev, you've been to my house. You've seen my personal deer. I killed some pretty good deer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's just, I mean, he's religious on hunting the wind and scent control. And then I laughed because, you know, he was sitting on a stone wall one day, and the wind was, you know, kind of turning a little bit, and he wanted to smoke a cigarette. So he went 300 yards from the stand to light up a cigarette. The wind is blowing the total, you know, opposite way that he wants it to go. So he's like, oh, I'm not going to see nothing. He's got a cigarette in his mouth, and a 10-pointer comes walking right to him.
Welcome to Connecticut.
Right. I was like, you know, these deer see people. They hear people every day. It's not like it is out west or out in the mountains, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of guys that are real scent nuts, you know. But I personally, I never bought into that, you know, not for Connecticut, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the deer walk 200 yards one way. They're in someone's backyard, and somebody's smoking a cigarette on the back deck. The dog's barking.
Right. Barbecue going.
Yeah.
Or that funny stuff nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's an attractive, isn't it?
the wacky tobacco. They're like, oh, let's go over here. I'm getting hungry.
It's a calming scent.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe that's the future, Chris. Maybe that's the future in Connecticut. Make it legal. Just burn it as incense, some hemp or whatever. Draw them in, get some hungry, and you plant your food plots in your yard, right?
You guys heard that first on East Coast Bowhunting. You guys heard that first here.
Fast food plots on East Coast Bowhunting Podcast.
The munchies.
Oh, man.
So,
hey, go ahead.
No.
You go, because you know what? I know you have a semi-man crush on Chris.
That is true. He does.
Rightfully so, though. Rightfully so. It's like, this is a bro crush to the fullest, because Trev's a younger lad compared to Chris. Not by much, but Chris has been in the game for a minute now. 2012, right, Chris?
Yeah, 2012, yeah.
Yeah, so Trev's been looking up with his Euro business, and Trev's always intrigued in taxidermy. I'm getting hooked, too. Back
up.
He's my man.
No, that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about taxidermy.
All right. So, Chris, bring us to, like, what do you have to offer as, what is it? What's the name of your LLC?
Brockett's Taxidermy LLC.
Perfect.
Where can they find you?
I'm over here in East Hampton, Connecticut, about 7 miles from the Portland Bridge. Real easy to find. I go on Facebook. I got a Facebook page. Basically, the only advertising I really do is on Facebook, and that's kept me busy enough, so I just never really did a website or nothing. But the Facebook page is Brockett's Taxidermy on Facebook, and you can look me up on there, and you'll see me.
So you also, aside from mounting deer and full life size, what else do you do?
This year's been a lot of bears, coyotes, foxes. I just do mammals. That keeps me plenty busy. I don't do the fish. I don't do the birds. A couple of the other taxidermists around here are pretty good at the fish and the birds. I stay away from, I'm good at the deer. I know what I'm good at, and I stick with what I'm good at.
And you also do European mounts.
Oh, yeah, tons of Euros. Yep. Got the beetles, and and I think me and Trevor are the only two in the state that do the beetles.
Yeah.
So you can't go wrong with either one, you know.
That's a process in itself.
Each other all the time, we're at each other's houses all the time.
Yeah.
Big competition. We're like good buddies. Ain't that funny, Trevor?
It's funny. Like somebody would be like, "Oh, who does European mounts in the state?" And they'll start tagging Chris. They'll start tagging me. I tag Chris. Chris tags me. It's just like,
I have to look out for each other. Like you said, you know, we kind of both got into the Euro part, you know, and Like I told you when we first met, I said, dude, there's a million deer out there that get shot every year. I hope you get a million of them. I says, there's more than enough work out there for all these taxidermists, and there's no need to get into the bitching and fighting amongst each other. It's childish. Like I said, I get guys all the time. They see me talking on Facebook and like, isn't it your competition? I go, shit, that ain't competition. Me and him, we get along great. We bounce ideas off each other.
It's a brotherhood, right?
Last, county over here. We got the new enclosure. Trev jumped right up on the opportunity to go over and help me set it up. That's what friends are for. If more people work like that with each other, everybody else will do better.
Yeah, and the thing is, and there's no competition. You can have all my euros.
I got enough of my own, and then started to do the mount and the shoulder mounts.
Yeah.
There's only so much time in the day,
Yeah, exactly. And now it's like crazy because now that the Europeans have kind of picked off and everything like that, then it's been crazy with the Europeans. And actually, funny thing is, I had a lady reach out to me on Facebook, and she paints the skulls and stuff, and then puts finishes on them. It's what is the name of that company? Skull. Oh man, now I forget.
Don't look at me. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea,
Damn,
either, bro.
But anyways, I'll have to put up the information. But she's gonna send me some business cards and stuff. But she paints skulls. So if you want some skulls painted, you can look.
Yeah.
You can look out. I'll share the information with you too, Chris, so you can see it. But she does a phenomenal job. She did a John Deere tractor and on going across the skull, and then there was another one with a guy with a bow and arrow. She does some really cool like artist
Custom
stuff. So
it's not a dip; it's custom stuff.
yeah. So it was kind of cool.
You know who else does that stuff? He does it with the moose antlers. Is that CT Carl? He's also does the scoring and stuff like that. You must know him, CT Carl.
I've seen him. Yeah.
Yeah. He's real artistic too. He does a lot with the moose antlers and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
He does the carvings.
Actually, I know.
Yeah.
The carvings. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's really good too. I've seen some of his work. I follow him on Facebook, and he does a real nice job too.
That's awesome.
He does a good job. Facebook is kind of like the way. Everyone in the world communicates that way. It's a little insane because the government's tapped into
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
We're all being watched.
Yeah,
We're
whatever.
being listened to right
the,
now.
the
We're on a radio
Illuminati.
show.
No, the Illuminati, so to speak. Like shout out to Steve Moeller at WCB, the Illuminati.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh man. So
You got some questions for him?
Yeah, I actually have
I know.
a ton of
I know
questions.
you have a ton of questions.
Chris, I'm sorry. I'm a fan for sure.
Oh, I like that. That's cool. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying. I see your work. It's beautiful. It's artistic. I know your vision because I see the way you mount it, right? And I'm an artist in a different way. Never ventured that realm, but art is art, and what you put out there, I see these animals come back to life. Like I said, I'll say it again. You're the funeral home for the outdoor critter. You know what I mean?
Now, D-Rock, the art you're referring to is graffiti, right?
Yeah. Down in the dirty. See, yo, Chris, I'm from the dirty, Waterbury, Connecticut. So artwork down in my area is a little different than artwork in your area. You know what I mean? Out in East Hampton, Connecticut. You know what I mean? It's like
the artwork down there includes like a spray can and under a bridge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm going with.
That's where he hunts, is under the bridge, Chris.
yo, but
He's the troll under the bridge with that hair.
I'm the troll that gets the monsters, but not this year. This year's been rough. But back to the story is the point I'm trying to make is you're just such an artist at it, and I see your vision, and I know as a taxidermist, like you see something in your head and you picture it. As soon as you see that rack or the face or the shape of the skull, right away you're getting ideas. And as an artist, I could get into your brain a little bit when you do your artwork because I see what you're trying to portray.
Yep,
And that's the initial goal as an artist. Like you have an end result. I want you to elaborate a little bit on that aspect in your field because as an artist, I want to experience that. The process.
Yeah, you'll get a guy come in and have like a set of antlers, and there'll be something funky on one side, and right away you start envisioning, okay, what pose will show and enhance that part of the antler? You want to show that off, or you get a deer that's got like a double white throat patch, and you want to show that off, so you go more of like a upright or a semi-upright pose, You just, like you said, you kind of envision. As soon as I walk through the door, I start envisioning, hey, what can I do to show off the best qualities of this animal?
Awesome.
That's awesome.
That's cool. And with being in Connecticut, I mean, CT, I mean, I know, especially someone like yourself, like, you get a little bit of everything. You get a little taste of the glory, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's done. You should have seen
He did a little bit of everything. Yeah, I just last week I got a guy come back from Texas. He brought me a javelina, a wild boar.
Nice.
And then you get the coyotes, and I think we got weasels this year, mink. We got foxes this year. We got some beavers we got to do this year. Yeah, it's a little bit of everything this year.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and you had that cool raccoon that you had that was sitting on the edge of the.
Yeah, the raccoon. I got a fox. I'm doing next week. I got a red fox. He's got a tail like a raccoon. It's all banded. I ain't never seen a fox like that before. It looked like a raccoon tail on a fox.
Oh, that's awesome. I remember that. That's the one with the ring.
Next week there, he's up next week. He'll be getting mounted up for a life size. So I'll be posting pictures of that one.
I remember seeing that. You were showing me that. It has the rings around the tail. That's awesome.
I've never seen one like that. Like it literally looks like it's a raccoon. You know, it's a fox with a raccoon's tail.
That's awesome.
Hey, Chris, we got Ryan the porn star over here in the corner. I got a question for you.
That doesn't sound good. What's Ryan the porn star doing in the corner?
I'm filming tonight.
Not with me, motherfucker. I'm over here.
He's filming.
So now, Chris, back in our previous episodes, we've talked about hunter shaming and that a trophy is what you make it. Now, how often do you get someone that comes in with, a smaller buck and it's just a trophy to them because it's their first deer, whatever the reason is, even a doe? Do you often mount smaller deer and does just because it's a trophy to that person? Or do you see...
I took a doe in 2 days ago. The guy, I think he's 36, 37 years old. It's the first deer he ever shot. And he was kind of skeptical. He was like, you mount a lot of does? I mount 5 or 6 does a year. And he showed me his recovery video of him recovering his deer, and he was damn near hyperventilating. And I says to him afterwards, I says, dude, the moment you lose that excitement when you're walking up on your deer is the time for you to hang your bow up. I said, because that's what it's all about right there.
That's a bow. With a bow.
Guys, they'll mount their kid's first deer, and they're like, oh, it ain't the biggest deer in the woods. And I'm like, but you know what? To that kid right there, it's his first deer, and that's the best deer he'll ever shoot in his mind, He'll always remember that.
And he's going to have that mount for life.
Yep.
Yeah,
wonderful.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that there's people out there that actually, appreciate their trophy like that, because sometimes, especially with social media, you kind of get torn away from that and what the trophy actually is, and it's good to hear that, and that's one thing, like coming into the Euro shop. Especially Euroing, they're not always the biggest deer.
Use me an example.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a perfect example this year.
He shot one with broken antlers, and then we're gonna do it, and it has just the nubs, but
the same meaning.
Yeah,
it's just a trophy. It's just.
Well, you look at that piebald, what I did for your buddy there. Dude, at first he was skeptical. He didn't think it was gonna be big enough, and he was worried what people were gonna think about him shooting it. Now, I mounted it for him. He loves it, and. Dude, that's a trophy. That's a once-in-a-lifetime kind of deer.
Absolutely.
Like I said, were you happy when you shot it? Yeah. Are you still happy? Yeah. Dude, it's a 200-incher in my book.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it was a spike horn or if it was 200 inches. A trophy is your trophy.
Yep. Now, all the deer I got, my personal deer, I've never had any of them scored. I was never one for inches. I've never really cared. And I got a couple really decent ones that guys come in and say, hey, what'd that score? And that's just, I tell them the same thing. I says, I don't know what it scored. I was like, I was happy when I shot it. I'm happy with it now, and I can tell them, in my eyes, it's a 200-inch buck.
That's all that matters.
This summer, just little basket racks I got on the wall. My first black powder deer, I don't think that thing's 60 inches. Just a little scrub buck. But it was my first
good meat,
one.
Though.
He's a trophy to me.
Yeah, and that's all that matters.
Yep.
And people, people need to get away from that. It drives me nuts.
It really does. It really does, because the fact that it might alter your thought process while you're in the field is bullshit. I'm sorry. I'm calling bullshit, because you know what? It's all for the love of the game. And if that's going to be the deciding factor of what you're going to shoot, I call that bullshit, because when you go out there, it's all about having fun. And I feel that's the hardest lesson learned for me this year. It's because last year I got spoiled. I slayed left and right, Chris. And I got some good bucks. This year was the hardest year ever. I recently just shot a buck, and the motherfucker didn't even have antlers. Like, the antlers were broken. The antlers were broken. But you know what? I saw a big buck. I saw meat in the freezer, and it was a good-sized buck. And you know what? It was special to me, because it made me realize how hard the chase is.
Yep.
The chase is one of a kind.
And you know what, D-Rock, on that note, it makes you appreciate the deer even more, too. That deer, what made that deer snap his antlers off? What was he going through? You know, they're just such a tough animal, and you got to appreciate what goes on, you know, throughout the time that you don't see those deer. You don't know what they're doing in their lives.
Oh, you want to talk about the things that deer go through? Chris, what kind of things come through your shop?
Hell yeah, Chris.
Oh, you got to see all kinds of stuff.
Enlighten
I
us.
was skinning a deer out. I was skinning deer up at a slaughterhouse up in Southington. And we had this buck come through, big 12-pointer, and we found 3 slugs in his shoulder and 2 broadheads in him.
Come on.
There's another guy that shot him. It was a bow hunter that ended up finally killing him. But I was skinning this deer out, and I'm pulling all the stuff out from previous seasons. And that tells you how tough they are.
Wow. And he lived.
Yep. And he lived.
Wow.
3 slugs in his shoulder.
That's insane.
That poor bastard must have dreaded hunting season. Every time it started getting cold, he's like, "Oh, it's coming again."
this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt.
I need to get a better winter jacket because this shit stings.
That deer had been shot 6 times in his life.
Wow.
And he survived 5 times. The last time he wasn't lucky.
That's funny. That's funny. So, your best memory in taxidermy specific?
I had a customer. His name was Ben. He had to have surgery, and they were putting rods in his back. And I remember him coming over and dropping off his deer. He shot the deer with it had a wicked bright red forehead on it, real pretty, and it had double brow tines, on both sides, split brows. And I remember saying that he was going in for surgery and that he was going to be laid up for a while. So I got his deer done, and I remember making a phone call telling him, "Hey, I got your deer done." And I remember how excited he was when I got, I told him his deer was done. When he came to pick it up, that's probably one of my favorite memories, just seeing how happy he was, and I kept thinking, I felt bad, he's a young guy, and that, it just touched me, like, I don't know, it touched a soft spot for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I hear you.
And that's probably one of my favorite memories, of when I was doing the taxidermies. I got his deer back to real quick, and he was real happy. And I just kept thinking, man, I couldn't imagine being laid up. And he was, talking to him, he was going to be laid up for quite a while, and he was probably going to miss the next hunting season. And, I figured, well, you know what, if I can get his deer back to me and at least look at it in the bedroom, be like, you know what, I did have a good season the year before, and things are going to get better, you know what I'm saying? And, I still think about that a lot. I know I made that kid's day,
Word. So on that note, since I asked you your high of your taxidermy career and what you remember most in a positive manner, what about hold on, what's this? Yo, Chris Brockett, #1 Connecticut taxidermist in the state. You made it to the next segment. What rattles your antlers? Yeah.
Does he know what he doesn't even know what that means?
No. So what rattles your antlers? We didn't prep you for this. Is every hunter, conservationist, taxidermist, anything to do with outdoors? There's something that just rattles your cage, rattles your antlers. What is that?
Oh, okay. Where do I start on this one? In the taxidermy world, what gets me? Guys that split a deer when they're skinning it, and they split it all the way up the brisket. Man, if you want to twist my screws, split that deer's brisket. I can fix it. It's not a big deal. But, dude, when I see that, it tweaks me bad.
It rattles your antlers?
It rattles your antlers.
That, or I get the guys that got to cut the throats on them. And it's... their grandfather did it, their father did it, and, we got to bleed them. But the deer's dead. The heart's not beating. You can get a couple drops on them. It's not a farmyard goat or a cow where you got to hang it up and you're sticking them. You don't need to cut the throats on them,
So they have these giant trophies with gaping holes in their throats.
I get 2 or 3 of them every year, and, yeah.
Oh, that will
That's
rattle
crazy.
your antlers. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm glad we have you on the phone, Chris, because everyone that we've been getting on the show, and we're all about education. And the way we educate is through our experiences, plus we're experts at the laws, because that's something you have to study and know in every state, not just Connecticut. So we specifically talk about Connecticut only but it's very, very relevant to other states except for Massachusetts because they're bow hunting only. And what we have to offer is just education through the newcomer or someone that got out of the game. And where I'm leading to is we always do giveaways. And the reason we do giveaways, I don't know if you've listened to our recent podcast, but personally, East Coast Bowhunting Podcast is exclusively doing a tree stand harness, a safety harness donation. Anyone that needs one, we'll send it out for free.
Oh, that's nice. That's real good of you guys. That's good stuff.
Right. So this way, we want everyone safe. We want everyone in the tree safe, and we practice safety. So what we do is all our sponsors do away a little something. And not to put you on the spot, but we just always give back to the hunting community. If there's something or anything that you could do to give back, that would be cool. And
yeah, we can do it, dude. I'll tell you what. I'll throw in a free Euro mount. You want to do some kind of giveaway, and I'll throw in a Euro mount for you.
Oh,
look
jeez.
at that! Damn.
Trev's toes hurt over here.
Wait,
No, not at all. That thing is awesome.
Know what I heard, Chris? Know what I heard? Trev's Euros what? Chris Brockett free. That's what I heard.
Oh, jeez.
Shit, I'm bringing my buck to you then. I'm sorry.
Yeah, whatever.
Gift card, when they go to turn it in, take deer to Trev's Euros.
Only the free one goes to Chris. Everyone else we're gonna treasure.
But let's get off that subject for a second. We'll talk about that more and put it in a later podcast. So this way we get the details on that, and we appreciate that for sure. But we're so happy to have you on the phone because we always do a giveaway, and this week we have an Instagram giveaway. I'm glad we have Chris Brockett, Taxidermy, on the show right now, going live with us on the Instagram giveaway. So Trev, let us know what's in the giveaway.
So we gave away a knife, a big skinning knife, North American Hunting Club, I believe. Is that one North American? No, I don't think it is.
It's a good knife.
It's a nice big sturdy knife. We gave away also a bullet knife, a pair of binoculars, a compass, and a T-shirt. And we're gonna send that out. To who, Ryan?
We're gonna send that out to Mike's Bucked Up.
Mike's Bucked Up
on Instagram.
Wait. What?
Mike's _bucked _up. Mike's Bucked Up.
Where's he from?
Congratulations,
No.
brother. You are the winner.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, his Instagram isn't giving us enough information to find out where you're from.
But get a hold of us, reach out to us, and I'll get that in the mail to you. Also with the Facebook one, now that's all. I'm going to send all these at the same time.
Yo, Chris, did you just hear that name, though?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Mike's Bucked Up. That's his Instagram name.
Yeah.
Mike's Bucked Up. That's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy. So, lucky you. Congratulations. Mike's Bucked Up. Hit up East Coast Bowhunting Podcast, and we'll get that shipped out very, very soon. So, back to the subject at hand. Chris Brockett, Taxidermy 101. So again, let's wrap it up with what you have to offer. Where can we find you, and let us know how much of a CT everyday man you are too.
Well, like I said, you can find me if you want to look me up. Go on Facebook, Brockett's Taxidermy. You can find me right on there.
Probably the best place to get a hold of you is there on Facebook, Chris.
Yeah, hit me up on Facebook, and I just go right through there. I really, like I said, I don't do much advertising besides Facebook. Facebook is the new advertising.
Because you're a one-man business.
Word of mouth.
Yeah. and if anybody doesn't have Facebook and they want to reach out to East Coast Bowhunting Podcast, we'll get you the information to get it over to Chris too. So that's easy enough.
Most definitely.
That's not a problem. So
let's end on something positive on that note, you know?
Yeah.
Let's start with our guest at hand, Chris Brockett. Something positive. What do you give us something positive for this deer season, late deer season?
Well, I think the rut was a little late this year, so that's a positive thing.
Amen, brother.
The deer's still
Amen.
chasing.
Jesus.
So there's your positive. You know,
there we
the
go.
The weather's been kind of crappy. You know, a lot of rain. I don't know what's doing over here now. It's pouring over here now. But,
oh yeah. We're supposed to get like 2 inches of rain.
Going. So there's your positive.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Ryan,
They're out chasing.
Ryan the porn star.
They're definitely chasing. Like I said, I took 3 big ones in yesterday. Now every one of them guys said they were all chasing.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. And we're almost in December here.
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome.
Ryan the porn star. Something positive.
Something positive. We still got plenty of season left here, guys. Not even December yet. We got at least a full month for the whole state here, and it goes in a little bit of January down the shore. So we got a lot of time left here to hunt. So get out there and keep doing it. Like Chris said, rut's a little late, so it's not too late to get out there and get that smasher buck you've been dreaming of.
Awesome. Trev, positive.
Positive.
Now,
Get out there, stay positive, and be positive.
O plus positive?
Yeah, O plus positive. Just stay positive. Get out there, be positive. Chris says that they're chasing. Ryan says he's seeing them. So, D-Rock, what do you got positive?
Amen, brother. And what I got positive is if you're wondering what's happening out Midwest, tune into Working Class Bowhunter podcast. They'll
That's
fill you
positive.
in on what's going on. That's very positive.
Very positive.
And what's positive on the East Coast, we're definitely doing the deed, getting blood on the ground, finding our proper taxidermist. Thank you, Chris Brockett, for being on the show. And
Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. We can't thank you enough for coming and doing this with us.
Hey, man, you're taking time out of your day to fill in our gaps, and it was very informative tonight. So shout out to you. And the positive for tonight is stay stepping.
Stay slaying.